far as the intro on it, I mean, I think as David and I have sat here and talked about some of the evolutions that are coming in the market rabbits, one of the aspects is muscle and how much shape do we want to put in here. And as you view this rabbit across the top, you get a flatter or more of a butterfly shape to that top line, where the spine's running here, and when you've got loin muscles on both sides that are going to be round in shape, the more expressive a rabbit is, or the more muscle that we put in that top line, naturally it's going to rise up on both sides of that spine and give you what we deem in the hog world as like a butterfly shape, or there's going to be really a groove down the back. And the flatter and tighter that fur lays, and the tighter and thinner hided that they are, the more expressive that's going to be visually. Not only that, but just to handle it, you can feel that. Especially a fresh one, and what we call extremeness in muscle shape, which is just going to increase the meat to bone ratio. They're going to be higher yielding, and ultimately that's what we're looking for in these fryers or roasters, whatever that category is. And then as we look at the meat pens, we're just trying to create uniformity within 3 of them in that category. So, but I think there's really probably not a rabbit out there yet that has too much muscle, and that's the one aspect that I think as breeders we can be challenged with, trying to continue to increase the amount of shape that these rabbits have, and identifying it as being more of a butterfly type and top line, and then really widening out that hip loin junction so that leg and that big top really smoothly go together. But if we put a big butterfly top in them, they're going to be more expressive, and they're not going to be that shell like we're used to judging some of the breeding stock rabbits. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're evaluating to try to put a pen of 3 together, I'll always say that finding 2 that are the same is difficult, and then it's 3 times as hard to find the third one. I mean, that third one is difficult, and a lot of times it becomes a game of how many do you have to choose from, because if you're going to take a pen, you're going to put the best 3 that you can find together if you have a pen of 3 show, which is what most of us deal with. So I like to take 2 or 3 litter mate does and breed them all to the same buck in a very tight window, so that genetically all 3 of those litters have got the ability to be made a lot alike, and that increases your pool to be able to choose from. So that scenario really has worked well for us to just give us more to pick from. I don't think we need to get completely wrapped up in the idea of getting them the same as much as trying to get each one of them really good. There is a uniformity factor to it, but you've got to have 3 really good rabbits. Don't let weight be your factor. It really needs to be how those rabbits are designed and how they handle, because ultimately that judge is going to see the numbers on the paper, but that really shouldn't be as important as how the rabbits handle and how they're designed, both as from a top view and from a side view, really match up with each other. Yeah, and I think you talk about like the width of shoulders being the same, their length of body being the same, which a lot of times the really good market rabbits are a little shorter in the way that they're put together, and part of that is we've got an allotted amount of weight that we can put on these rabbits, and we're trying to do it as efficient as possible. And sometimes lengthening out that body isn't necessarily as valuable as it is powering it up, because I think as we put more power in the shoulders, we put bigger tops, and we put more leg shape on them, that third dimension is critically important, and the only way that you can do that in in the weight range that we have to is by making sure that we're not too long-sided. It's kind of like a rubber band. The longer you stretch it out, it's more difficult to keep that rubber band wide. I mean, it just naturally is going to want to narrow. And so some of the best rabbits are very moderate in terms of length of body. And that's, I know that's a livestock term, but that's how I view it in evaluating rabbits. But as we look at the skirting and how these rabbits kind of come to the table, just be mindful of what's hide and hair and what's leg shape and power, and be a good evaluator of that. I think is important in these young rabbits. I always like to tell everybody we're raising Little League World Series champions here. We're not making Major League Baseball players. So we need that early maturing rabbit that's really coming into a lot of carcass quality at a younger age, where some rabbits naturally are a little more immature at this age and become beautiful 6'8" or seniors. But in this evaluation, we're looking for that early maturity that really puts on some carcass merit in that 70-day age range.